All right. We are super excited to have you here with us on episode 804 of the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show, coming in from the 804. Y'all see that? Listen, today's guest helps individuals and families calm anxiety, heal from trauma, release emotional weight, and reconnect with their mind, body, and spirit. We're super excited to have with us in the virtual studio Ashley Waddell with us. And today's topic is the regulated entrepreneur. Your best business skill isn't on your resume. Listen, we don't want you to move. We don't want you to go anywhere. We're going to keep it locked right here on the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show. And we're going to get officially started right after this quick intro. Don't you move.
Whoa. Why y'all so happy?
You don't know? Sharvette Mitchell is on the radio.
It's time to get motivated, excited, and influenced. Why? It's the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show, live from Richmond, Virginia. And now, here to motivate, excite, and influence you, Sharvette Mitchell.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show, broadcasting live from the capital city of Richmond, Virginia, but heard and seen all across the World Wide Web. And you know, the goal of the show is to motivate, excite, and influence, and we're going to do just that today. Listen, YouTube is already cranking, already rolling. Hello over on YouTube. Hey, Roberto. Hey, Marilyn. Listen, hey, Kim. Yes, 804. A friend of mine called and was like, what you gonna do when you get to 1,000 episodes? Oh, y'all just gotta wait and see. You just gotta wait and see. But we are so excited for all of you that are watching live, listening later in the podcast version. Wherever you're checking us out, make sure you subscribe and follow. If you're on YouTube, subscribe to our channel. And if you are checking out the podcast and it just came across your feed, make sure you subscribe so that way you don't lose and miss any of the goodness that's coming our way. Hey, Dana, thank you for stopping on in to say hello, because I think this is such a great topic today as we get ready to bring our guest up, episode 804. And the topic is the regulated entrepreneur. Your best business skill isn't on your resume. And I think there's a lot of conversation out and a lot of things out around regulated. Oh, you got to regulate your nervous system. Oh, you got to regulate this. And almost sometimes feels like this pop culture thing that people will take and run with it. Well, we have an expert today who's going to break it all down to you. So go ahead. This is a good time to go ahead and share the episode, tag a friend, and say you need to be listening in to the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show. So let me introduce our guest as I get ready to get started with our interview. We have Ashley Waddell with us. She is a holistic therapist, a wellness strategist, a EMDR certified therapist, Virginia board approved clinical supervisor, and the founder of Holistic Alignment Therapeutic Wellness Center, which is a virtual private practice supporting Black and other women of color, parents, and also helping professionals who are navigating anxiety, trauma, chronic stress, and emotional overwhelm. Licensed in Virginia and in Maryland with over a decade of experience across schools and hospitals and community health and outpatient therapy. Put your hands together as we bring to the stage Ashley. Welcome to the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show. And I think I hear the listeners clapping. Is that what I hear? I think I hear them. I think they're clapping. Yes, they are. All right, we're excited to have you joining us, Ashley. And I certainly want to just jump right on into this conversation because do you feel like the word regulated, is it a new word or is it something that's just people have gotten a lot of awareness about now?
I feel like it's a combination of both. Well, like nowadays, nervous system regulation is like the buzzword, but a lot of people are getting educated on what it means and why it's so important. So I'm so excited that we're all having this conversation now and people are getting on board and using the term.
All right, great. Well, I love it. It's not just me. So can you explain to our viewers and our listeners, what does it mean to be regulated?
Yes. So when I think about regulation, to me, it means that you're able to understand what's happening inside of your body and use different tools and strategies that are like mind body based to help you to move from a state of like stress or overwhelm back into more of a state of calm, relaxation, and you can focus and you could be clear and make good sound decisions.
Okay, great. And so, since this show is geared towards our business owners, what does it specifically mean to be a regulated entrepreneur? And certainly, why our nervous system regulation is really a business skill that doesn't show up on the resume.
Right. So when I think about the regulated entrepreneur, it's more so like the business owner that can understand when they're stressed, when they're anxious, when they're overwhelmed. And again, instead of making decisions from that place, they kind of pause and stop and come back to themselves and make more decisions that are more rooted in calmness and focus and ease. So when you think of nervous system regulation, it matters because a lot of things activate you as a business owner. So you can get activated when it comes to trying to be visible, or activated when you think about your money, or when you have to have those difficult conversations. And it's not a skill that's on your resume, but it's a skill that helps you to accomplish everything that is on your resume. So if I ask you or your listeners to pull out their resume right now and scan it and go to that skill section, I don't think nervous system regulation is going to show up.
No.
But if I ask you, what did it take for you to accomplish everything on that resume, what would you say?
Well, you're going to go through a whole list of things and the how of it, which I'm sure ties into some of that regulation.
Right. And the nervous system regulation, it doesn't more so show you what you did, but it gives you the story on how you got to where you are. And I think that it's important to understand that, we didn't just get here overnight. And there was a lot of decisions that had to be made. A lot of times that you might have been stressed, you might have been overwhelmed, but you had to tell yourself that it was okay. You had to tell yourself that it was safe enough for you to do what you needed to do. And that's nervous system regulation. Wow. And without that, you wouldn't be able to accomplish anything that you have set out to accomplish. And I really feel like that your nervous system regulation can determine what the things that are not on your resume just as yet. Yeah. And if you are not regulated, then it can, again, make or break the things that show up on that resume.
Wow. And because with entrepreneurs, we are always making tons of decisions. Not that other people who have corporate jobs or nurses or, all of these who are not making, very critical decisions as well. But there is, I think, an abundance of decisions those of us that are entrepreneurs and small business owners make, and that we're juggling that may have a stricter impact on us and activate us. I like that word, activate. So that's a word that we can actually use. And we see you all coming in, checking out the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show. We're talking about the regulated entrepreneur, and we are here with Ashley Waddell, holistic therapist and wellness strategist. And so, Ashley, when I think about, again, this conversation geared towards entrepreneurs who are often, relying on strategy and branding and systems. But what happens when someone, has all the business tools, but lacks internal regulation? How does that show up in their day-to-day operations?
So have you ever heard the saying, like, you can have all the tools in the world, but you still won't use them? Like, give you a list of everything that you need to do, but it takes something that pushes you to actually use the tools. And for me, a lot of entrepreneurs are smart. You know what to do. You have strategy, systems, ideas, and plans, but your body is still overwhelmed. You're anxious. You shut down. You might be panicky, and you're not able to execute. And that can show up again as overthinking. You're second guessing yourself, procrastinating, not showing up, didn't make the post, holding out on the blog. And I'm speaking to myself here. I can relate.
Honest.
So again, sometimes it's not that you don't have the strategy. It's that you don't feel safe enough or steady
Mm.
or sure enough to even use the strategy. And that's where that internal regulation comes in. So if your body is in constant like survival mode or just not feeling okay and steady enough, that thinking part of your brain gets shut off. And you're not able to execute anything that you know. So you have to first regulate internally in order to execute.
This is such a needed and powerful conversation, Ashley, because as a coach who gives tools, who gives strategy, and to be able to see, okay, all of the pieces are there, but there's a piece that has to be there. And I love that thought around safety. Dana is testifying in the comments, Lord, today, right? Lord, today. And sometimes people feel like safety, well, that's only, you might hear that for children, you might hear that, but no, adults, there is, because heavy is the hair that wears the crown, right? And or the spotlights are hot. And so that can feel unsafe when you're an entrepreneur trying to put yourself out there. And then it shows up. And you mentioned overthinking, which is kind of that perfectionism, which, spoiler alert, Ashley is a co-author in our fall book that's coming, The Perfection Lie. I might sneak a little promo later, but that perfectionism is tied into that as well, right?
Yes, it is.
Whoa. So I know people are saying, okay, are there things that I can do, or even before I go there, because I know you work with women that are navigating, anxiety, trauma, chronic stress. How do these kind of unprocessed experiences quietly shape an entrepreneur's ability to lead? Yeah. What is that quiet shaping? Yeah.
So when you have things like anxiety and trauma and all of that kind of living in your body, and you have not processed it or you haven't dealt with it, it can show up on your day-to-day. So, and it's subtle. You can start second guessing yourself. You avoid certain conversations, or you might overreact to something somebody said, or you have like a different interaction with somebody that can throw off your whole day and you don't understand why. And again, sometimes our body is responding to something that happened in the present, but it's also connected to something that happened in the past. Ooh. So that's why when I talk to my clients and we talk about the anxiety, the trauma, and the stress, we look at, okay, how did we get here? What is unresolved? What's unprocessed? Because that story could still be playing in the background. And if it's unprocessed, it can shape your thoughts, and that can shape your feelings, and then that shapes your actions that you take and the actions that you don't take. So for an entrepreneur, if you want to lead and make different decisions and stay consistent, but you can't, you have to look at, okay, what's underneath? What could I still be holding? What's the story that I could be telling over and over and over that doesn't need to be told any longer? What are the negative beliefs that I'm still holding on? Wow. That I need to let go of? And what does my body need in order for it to feel safe or secure enough for me to do what I need to do for myself?
What does my body need to feel safe? This is an Oprah Life class right here. I don't know if the O Network is listening in. Y'all need to connect with Ashley because I do feel like this conversation it's talked about in general, but I think specifically for entrepreneurs and business owners, we have to keep talking about this. And thank you for this comment here related to Dana loves the W in your business name, holistic. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes. So when I think of I'm a social worker, so I think from a perspective that considers all systems when you're dealing with a person. So when I'm working with my clients, I don't just consider what they're thinking, but I consider the story, the experiences that came before they came into my office. And we look at not just what you're thinking about, but how are your finances, how are you socially, how's your environment, how are you intellectually. So we go into the whole person, and we need that in order to look at, again, what has this person experienced that could be contributing to why they are where they are.
Wow. Now. So good. Thank you for that. Okay. And so your approach, which you actually just kind of stepped into, and is this kind of holistic approach. How can entrepreneurs kind of start shifting from being reactive and kind of these stress-driven patterns to more grounded and more regulated, with their leadership and just how they're operating their business?
I think we need to take the time to pause. We have to take the time to really take inventory on what's happening in our body, what's showing up, the aches, the pains. When something happens and we feel uncomfortable, that's your body telling you something. And if you ignore it, eventually you're not going to be able to ignore it. So my go-to recommendation is for everybody to learn to insert different moments in their day where they stop and just pause, take a breath, take an inventory on, okay, what's showing up right now? What's taking up the most attention in my body right now? Whose voice am I hearing? Is it mine or is it somebody else's? And once you take that inventory, you then can decide, okay, what aligned action do I need to take to get me to where I need to be? And if I do not know how to get there, who can I connect with that can support me to get me where I need to be?
Roberto is coming in from New York. What does my body need to feel safe? He's making a statement there. What does the body need to feel safe? And that pause is the first thing to kind of even recognize. And I actually love something that you just said a little bit ago, that what story is playing in the background. And what came to mind was like, if you might be around the house cleaning and you might put on a YouTube or you might put on a TV show or whatever. And after a while, you're so engrossed in what you're doing, it's playing in the background. You almost forget about it. It just blends in, but it's still there. I think that's really powerful for us to pay attention to what TV, what show, what we left playing. Can y'all see me pointing in the back, playing in the background? Because it's almost kind of has disappeared and is embedded now in our lives. Whoa. Hey there, Gwen, coming on in, one of our new platform builder clients. All right. So anything else you would recommend for clients? And matter of fact, I know there are people who are listening saying, can I work with Ashley? So first of all, how can people work with you and get some of this support?
Yes. So if you visit my website, you can find more information about me and who my ideal clients are. And there's a contact page on my website. And if you want to book a consultation, you can schedule it there. And then we'll have a 15-minute conversation about what you really need. I do talk to a lot of women who think they need therapy, but then when we kind of go into a little bit of it, they might also fit the realm to need coaching. So we definitely talk about the difference between therapy, coaching, and wellness. And I really listen in to what that missing factor, or what I call like the roadblock that's getting in the way. And then we decide where we go from there. So different options for therapy, for coaching, and for wellness services as well.
Wonderful. So therapy, certainly Virginia and Maryland, but coaching and the wellness you could be anywhere in the United States or abroad. I'm going to actually add in. And who is your ideal client? Who do you work best with? Who are you best suited to be with?
I love women who know what they want, who know like, I'm not where I want to be. And I kind of know what's getting in the way, and I'm ready to take the action, like not playing around, not second guessing, but really want to come in and do the work. You're holding a lot of anxiety in. You might be stressed, or you also have some childhood trauma that you have yet to resolve, or that's still, again, playing in the background. You're having flashbacks, or images are just coming up, and you're like, I just want to be able to release this from out of my body. And I really work well with those type of women who want to do the work and who prefer to do the work in the comfort of their own home. I am primarily virtual. So if you're okay with meeting me behind the screen and us really taking a deep dive into what you've been holding it on to, then yes, you're my ideal person to work with.
All right, there you go. And if you jump over to Sharvette.com, we have a full blog post for Ashley. We have links to her website, holistic alignment -twc.com. If you look down below in the show notes, if you're listening to the podcast, we have the links there and a great way to connect. So thanks for those questions that are coming on in. And so you do wellness as far as other things. So talk about the wellness side and the services and things that you offer in that space.
Yes. So I am certified in yoga. So yoga is a practice that definitely helps to shake up and shift some of the emotional things that we're holding in. I also am a certified sound healer. So I incorporate sound healing into my sessions as well to support those who benefit from the use of sound frequencies to also help shake up some of that emotional turmoil or emotional things that are inside of the body. Okay. I also offer journaling, which is another technique that can help individuals to process things that they've been holding on to. And as a play therapist, I can definitely incorporate different expressive art based activities like drawing, coloring, sand tray into my practices as well. So there are different modalities that are out there, but it's all about using the body. The body is the intervention, and we have to help support you to be okay with tuning into the body to see what is there and using other different tools to help release it or transform it into usable energy. Because a lot of time we have different things inside of our body that could help us, but we're not using it. So we want to work a lot with, okay, what's the energy that you're holding, and do we need to release it, or does it need to transform into something else? And do we need to bring out what you might be hiding that we need to utilize to help you to get you where you need to be?
So good. Gwen said that is good sound. Cookie from New York was like virtual. I like that. Yes. Hey, Betty Jean, Stanley Mitchell. Glad to have you in the virtual studio. And so certainly our entrepreneurs and small business owners that are listening in, hopefully you have more of a heightened awareness around this term of regulated and really kind of paying attention. And I agree, transformation and, in action. And in particular, if you're noticing that it's impacting your reactions to how, you might go for a proposal, you might write, for a grant and put in a proposal and it took you 30 pages to do. And you've done this like 4, 5, 10 times. And each time somebody else wins it. Like that, people don't talk about that type of rejection that's kind of like embedded in, but you only need one good win. That's going to set you up. But that type of, or customers that you might pitch to, and quite honestly, 50% or 30 to 50% don't buy it. And those things, I feel like those things can activate entrepreneurs, and we want to help equip entrepreneurs for that. Anything else outside of a pause that you would recommend to help people help people really regulate?
I really feel like we heal in community. So I do feel like it's important for you to have what I call your board of directors. Who are your go-to people that you feel secure enough to bounce ideas off of, or to be vulnerable enough to share what you've been struggling with? I feel like that's also a form of release, and those individuals have different tools and strategies that you might not have at your disposal.
Good.
You can show and work with you to utilize those skills. So I definitely feel like we heal in community. So if you're not accessing your network, then you're missing out on a whole lot of different resources that are there. I definitely encourage everyone to journal. A lot of people might be against it, but you can audio voice record. You don't even have to write. You could just speak it to your phone. And I do feel like when you hear your voice say things, you pick up on different things in a different way. So if you don't want to journal with like a paper and pen, talk it out, draw it out, dance it out, garden it out, move it out. There are different ways it's all about body and movement. If you're kind of catching on, because again, whatever we do not release, it stays stored in our body, and that can manifest itself into physical things as well.
Yes. Oh my goodness. And certainly that is, that's great right there. Great guidance from the entrepreneur who's listening, who's feeling overwhelmed or emotional overload. That's one great regulation practice there to journal before you even hire a therapist or coach. That's going to be, really helpful for you. So what do you have coming up, Ashley? What do you have coming down the pike? I know you got some speaking, some things. Let us know. Yes, Gwen is like, release is necessary.
So me and a good colleague of mine, she's a Reiki practitioner. We have a one-day retreat that's coming up in October. I know that's a little bit of ways away.
No,
but
this
I'm going to be talking about how you can come join us for our one-day retreat. I also have just different speaking engagements coming up where I'm sharing more about nervous system regulation and what it means to Black women specifically. Yes. I have space on my calendar as well for one-on-one services. If there are any women who, again, want to take more of a deep dive, not like if they want to go beyond like that 50-minute session, I have intensives that I offer where, again, we can kind of deep dive into what's been going on and take our time, because when you're dealing with a lot of trauma and a lot of things that you've been holding on, you don't want to rush it. So I am excited to be offering those intensive sessions. I'm trying to think if I have anything else.
And like I mentioned earlier, she is a co-author in our upcoming book collaboration, The Perfection Lie, that is coming down the pike. I do want to say sometimes when people, hear this conversation and they might say, well, I don't have a whole lot of trauma, or I didn't have a bad childhood, or I didn't have this regulation, like this regulating your nervous system is for a whole thing. Right.
Yes.
Like
you have a body
that you had to have a traumatic, childhood. Like if you are and entrepreneurs are juggling many things, and we have to be paying attention to our body and how we're regulating. Yes. I just wanted to, anything else you wanted to add related to that?
That was definitely important for you to say, because I do meet a lot of individuals that are saying, well, nothing's wrong with me. And like, I had a good childhood. My parents, right. But again, when you're faced with decision making and you're stressed and you're anxious and you're overwhelmed, what do you do? And how does it show up in your body? And how are you able to navigate that?
And how does it show up in your business decisions and how you lead and how you show up or not?
Not show up. Yep. Yes.
All the things. So how can people follow you online? How can people follow you online?
So you can follow me at Well with Waddell. That's my Instagram page. And my business page is Holistic Alignment _ TWC. So you can follow me on there and on Facebook.
All right. And if you jump over to Sharvette.com, where if you're you might be listening from Sharvette.com or wherever you're listening, look down in the show notes. We've got all of the links there to make it really easy. And we have tagged too. So you better be following us because we have tagged across all of the platforms and all of that. So Ashley, I'm telling you, this was really, really great.
Thank you. It was cool hanging with you tonight.
Yeah, we gotta do this again. We're gonna spin the block and do this again. Yes. And the last thing that we always ask all of our guests, the goal of the show, again, episode 804, you all heard that correctly. The goal of the show is to motivate, excite, and influence. And we want to know what continues to motivate Ashley.
Oof. That's a loaded
big question.
Yeah. Oof. So what continue? There are lives that I know that I am destined to be able to serve and support. And I am committed to empowering our young girls as well as our young men, just youth in general. And I feel like just knowing that if I'm able to support and encourage one person, then imagine what that one person can go out and spread to do as well. So that continues to motivate me, knowing that I can shed light and educate someone else on how to better themselves, who then can go out and better the world. So
the ripple effect is what I call it. The ripple effect. Well, thank you so much for stopping by the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show, and we wish you much more continued success.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right. It is a wrap for today. I'm telling you, we rolled on through. If you're like, oh, I came in a little late, I missed. Listen, sis, listen, bro, go back and listen to the full episode wherever you are watching or wherever you are listening. You'll be able to catch it all. Sharvette.com is always one of the easiest places to go. And if you're like, hey, I got a friend or an acquaintance or a business associate that needs to check this out, send them to Sharvette.com. And then that way they can listen or watch. And Ashley's information, bio, and links are right there. That makes it really, really simple. And this episode was brought to you by, this show is sponsored by the Platform Builder Program, which is a 12-month program where I work with women entrepreneurs. I'm sorry, gentlemen, you are not included. Women entrepreneurs to help them with their personal branding and their marketing so that they bring in and attract the types of clients that they want to work with and generate more revenue. But there are byproducts too of confidence and exposure and connections and partnerships that all get wrapped up into that. So if you offer a service and you're saying, I'm really, I recognize that marketing is an area that I am not comfortable with, but you know, and you recognize it's time for you to go up to this next level, I'd love to help you build your platform. So platformbuilder.biz is where you would go to find out information and join us in cohort 12 that gets started July 16th. We're having conversations now, and you'll find out all the information at platformbuilder.biz. All right. Thanks again for being with us. And a shout out to those that were on Instagram checking us out. It's a wrap. We'll see you all later. Next episode 805. Jean Tillery will be with us in the studio. We'll see you all later. Bye.
Live from Richmond, Virginia, you've been listening to the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show. Get Sharvette Mitchell every Tuesday at 6 p.m. interviewing all the stars you want to hear from. So until next week, stay motivated, excited, and influenced. This is the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show.